Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at WIF hat, see what's going on. It's been a long time coming. Apologize for the delays. What we want to look at here, first of all, is some important data. First things first, the pretty obvious previous low working as a new high here of roughly 140. We've known that for a little while. That was the local high. So the potential of that being retested is greater because we're still working in an ascending type of trend. And at this point here, a lot of strength is coming into this coin. Obviously, we had some pullbacks, but for the most part, it didn't dump half as hard as the majority of other altcoins. So I think we're still in good shape there. We had our local high of roughly 77, 78 cents, almost retested here as well. So we can see 70, we can just round up and say 80 cents and 140 are those two areas of concentration of both support and resistance. Okay, so just kind of throwing that out there. We'll take a quick look at the back end liquidation data too, kind of see where we're at here. We are trying to break free and tentatively breaking free from our descending trend line. That's a good sign. It does imply that the price going up is better or more probable than the price going down. Okay, so that's a good sign. So let's take a quick look at the back end liquidation data here and kind of see where we're at. What we're looking for is heavy concentrations liquidation in either direction. Obviously, we have a lot at 77 cents, but we're further away from that, so that becomes less relevant. And if we look here as well at 120, that's kind of the heavier concentration that may be the next target. But for the most part, the macro amount of liquidation has been fully swept. So all that extra little blubber, best way to describe it, because whales like to eat that, right? 85 to 95 cents is that rough estimate of where that area was satisfied. So now that that's been swept, the likelihood of further upside is greater. Liquidation delta has shifted bullish here too. And that happened about 24 hours ago when Bitcoin started running past its resistance at 105,000. That happened because Trump sent out a tweet about tariffs being paused. That's all very common fundamental catalyst, which affected this coin very positive. So I'm happy about it because I got a pretty big bag, of course, of this coin. Might recommend you consider the same. I think the long-term potential is pretty high for this one. But the simple way to understand it here is that when we look at the liquidation, this is the open interest in the last 7 days, 110 and 115 are those two areas of resistance. Okay, so those might be areas to recognize that we may see some slowing pressure or some selling pressure once we get there. So taking a look here at the daily time frame, let's work our way down. So first things first, we're testing our descending trend line essentially today. We're tentatively above it on smaller time frames, but from a daily time frame, we're not above yet. We also have the 20-day SMA above us, but the 50-day below us. So we're starting to kind of compress into this smaller range between 80 cents and $1. While we're above that for now, we haven't closed above it just yet, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this is a very good sign. We're right here at 55, just above 50 on the RSI. Stochastic is swinging up. MACD is starting to converge. While this isn't like a perfect scenario, it's a pretty good one. Okay, we just got to recognize that there's a pretty significant amount of resistance at 110 to 115 with all this volume. We're going to see exit liquidity when the price comes up to that range, and it's going to essentially put us in a position where the price action will probably reject out there initially. Okay, or we may see a short squeeze and the price drives straight through it if we have added volume. We have a good amount of volume right now here, as we can kind of see. 4-hour time frame, we're above all moving averages. This is a perfect case scenario. I really like to see this. We're also over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is above the RSI, and we're over our moving average. There's pretty much every single thing you want to look for in taking a long position here on this time frame. Hourly time frame also probably going to confirm that we are above the cloud, which we are. These are all green lights here to consider a long position. So I would be very careful shorting based on how strong this coin is with the added volume. If you take a look at this, the last 4 hours straight, we've been above our moving average, and we're showing significant continuation in buying pressure. So the likelihood of further upside is greater than it would be to the downside. So just be cautious if you're considering a short. I know it seems very tempting at this point, but I think Bitcoin is probably going to close over 106,000 today. And if it does, we're going to be in pretty good shape here to see a continuation higher. So there's a lot of little things to kind of think about, but for the most part, that's roughly where we're at. So it's all good, mostly positive. If you're considering a long, be very cautious and careful taking a short at this point. That can change at any minute, of course, but longs I think are a little bit more appropriate of a consideration today than they would be yesterday. All right, so that's where we're at. All right, cool. So we'll take a look here, or make sure you take a look on our playout chart or look out for our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I always provide those for you. That's on there as well. And check out Bitunix too, folks. If you're not part of this exchange, check them out. They've been phenomenal to our community. We've been using them for over 2 years now, and they provide significant benefit rewards every single month. So we have new campaigns every month. It's awesome stuff. So check them out. They're really definitely a good exchange. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, though. Thanks so much again for being an awesome part of my life. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care out there. Bye-bye.